Most people fail their goals by February, and it's not because they're lazy, but because they planned them wrong. If you ever started the year motivated, but then burned out in the first couple of weeks, this video is for you. I'll share 4 key principles and also one final idea that people rarely talk about, but has made the biggest impact on me. Hey there, I'm Michael Chu, and I've been in the personal development space for close to a decade. Through this, I've learned what actually helps and what doesn't. I'm still figuring life out, but I want to share my journeys so that you can grow more intentionally. If that sounds useful to you, consider subscribing. Okay, first things first, stop setting long-term goals. If you set a goal that you want to complete in a year's time, well then you automatically give yourself 8 to 9 months of procrastination. For example, if I want to lose 40 pounds by the end of the year, I can just procrastinate until it hits October or November and then start taking action. Another problem about setting long-term goals is that things change, life changes, and your priorities now will probably not be the same 2 years time or 1 year from now. It also can be very demotivating when you have to see 365 days that I need to take action, and that can be daunting. So what do? We set short-term goals. When I say short-term goal, I'm talking 3 to 6 months. For me personally, I think 3 months is the sweet spot because it's long enough so that you can actually make huge progress, but at the same time, it's short enough so that you don't feel that it's too overwhelming. Another great thing about setting a short-term goal is that there's built-in accountability. You simply cannot wait until the end to start. You have to do it right now. If you wait 1 to 2 weeks and just slack off, well, you've already exhausted like 20% of the time frame that you've given yourself. Step 2. Set action-based goals and not result-based goals. Well, what's the difference? An action-based goal requires you to complete an action, whereas a result-based goal wants you to achieve a certain result. The problem is that we cannot control the results we're going to get. We can, however, control the action that we want to take in order to hopefully get to that result. And usually, and most likely over time, if you keep taking the action consistently, you will eventually get to the results-based goal that you wanted all along. For example, losing 40 pounds itself is the result you want. But you can't have that specifically. You have to take action every single day. Let's say the action-based goal would be to work out 3 times a week. You can control that, but you cannot control how your body loses the actual fat, the metabolism, the sleep quality, the stress you're having. So focus on actions rather than results. Third, you need a very compelling reason and purpose as to why you want to achieve your goals. Life is going to get hard. That's just a reality. And when life gets hard, if you don't have a compelling reason, you're not going to take the action you need. Without a purpose, you're just relying on sheer willpower, and willpower is a finite resource, whereas purpose is renewable. Purpose is what gets you out of bed even on the days you don't feel like it. And I urge you to think of a deeper reason as to why you want to achieve those goals. Do you want to lose weight just to look good? Maybe you actually want to lose weight because in 20 or 30 years, you want to be able to see your grandkids and hold them, hug them, pick them up, and play with them. And you need to be healthy and fit in order to do that. So once you find your compelling reason, write it down and carry it with you. For me, I use a notebook. This 3x5 tiny one, I put it in my backpack, I put it in my pocket, and I write down every reason for every goal that I want to achieve. The fourth thing you need to do is to make your progress visual. As humans, we love seeing visual progress. We actually get a dopamine hit every single time we see our progress visually. Think about a to-do list. Every time you cross off something, does that not feel good? So how do we put this into action? We can use something called a Seinfeld calendar. This calendar was actually invented by a comedian named Jerry Seinfeld, who made it his goal to become a better comic. So he would write one new joke every single day. And every time he wrote a new joke, he would put a big red X onto a calendar that was taped on a wall. Pretty soon, there were a lot of X's and he didn't want to break the chain. So it became very addictive and he was able to see his progress visually. This applies to any of the action-based goals you want to hit. Say you want to read more, well, every time you read 20 minutes, then put a red X. And before you know it, you have a large chain that you don't want to break. If you've made it this far, thank you. And here's a bonus one for you. Don't be so hard on yourself. I get it, life gets hard, and I want to assume that if you're watching this, you're probably somewhat of a perfectionist, like me, and that's perfectly fine, but there are just some days where it's not going to work out, and that's okay. For example, if you're doing a Seinfeld calendar and you miss a day or two, just start the next day and with a fresh, clear mind. What I will say though is that you don't want to make it a habit of consistently not taking action. If that becomes very consistent, it can start to derail your goals. Here's a quick recap of what we learned. First, don't set long-term goals. Set shorter 3-month ones instead. Second, create action-based goals and not results-based goals. 3. Have a compelling reason and a purpose as to why you want to achieve the goals that you have set. 4th, make your progress visual. Find a way to keep track of the progress. Lastly, don't be so hard on yourself. Yes, take immediate action and work very hard, but love yourself along the way and enjoy the process. Success does not have to be a grueling, miserable process. When you set the goals in the correct way, it can actually be really fun and rewarding. I will leave you with a challenge. I want you to pick one action-based goal and stick to it for the next 90 days. Your life will change. Drop a comment down below and lock in what you're actually going to pick. I really hope you found this video helpful, and if you did, it would mean a lot if you could like and subscribe for more content that revolves around building a life that you actually love.